I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day they get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Hands for it, I'm bills for it, pondering. Whoa, whoa. Hands for it, I'm bills for it, pondering. I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day they get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Hands for it, I'm bills for it, pondering. Whoa, whoa. Hands for it, I'm bills for it, pondering.
Good evening and welcome to Between the Lines, presented to you by Livewire Sports. Today on the show, we have a multi-talented guest, Mr. Jerome Gumbs. Jerome, how you doing today?
Oh man, Shaq, it's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me. This is love, and I'm very appreciative for Livewire and the entire crew having me on. Thank you.
Now, I know we have some valuable information to get across today, so I'm excited for this one. You look like you're excited. Let's see what's going to happen.
Let's do it.
All right, so we know you as a basketball player. When did you first start playing basketball?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would like to think it's between 7 and 9 years old. I'll probably say 9 years old because when I started, it felt like I was the last one to start amongst my friends, and I was like the least talented or least skilled. So I would say 9.
About 9 years old. Now,
yeah, about 9.
What was it like for you playing basketball at that level? You said you were the least talented. Were you the last guy to get picked all the time?
Some people won't believe that, but yeah, it felt like it. You know, I grew up in a house where I didn't have any brothers, you know, so I grew up with only girls. So I started playing sports a little bit later than my peers. So yeah, I was picked last, which was fine.
It's definitely fine. We've seen a lot of success stories from the kids who were the last picks or the kids that got cut from their high school basketball team. So
yeah.
All right. So where did you play in junior high and high school?
Oh man, I played the one and only Concrane. And then I played at Charlotte Amali, the one and only. Yeah.
Now, what year did you graduate from Charlotte Amali High School?
Well, I didn't graduate from CAHS because I went to the United States. So I did my junior and senior year in the States, junior year in Florida, and then senior year in Kentucky. So unfortunately, I never graduated from Hawk Nation.
Well, we definitely gonna still claim you as one of our own. Don't worry.
Yeah, you got to. I'd claim it. You got to.
Now, What was it like transitioning from being at home to growing up in Florida in high school?
Man, I mean, Florida was such a tough experience. You know, it was my first time away from home. You know, I was in a house with like 16 other guys that were all hungry from different islands, all fighting, you know, to get scholarships. So it was a huge transition for me. And I think what really helped me is that it created a closer bond between me and my family, especially my mom. So from that point, you know, from that perspective, you know, it did good for me because I became closer to my family. But it was tough. You know, it was really tough not having any supervision.
Now, I heard you mention being in a house with about 16 or 17 guys. Was this like an academy?
Far from it. It was literally like a bunch of us just coming from islands, just really trying to find an outlet so we can get a scholarship, you know, because that's how you did. I mean, we didn't have YouTube, Instagram, you know, we didn't have none of that. So you had to leave home to really pursue a career in playing sports. So that was the ultimate sacrifice, you know, to sacrifice, you know, growing up with your family.
Now, with you playing on basketball in the high school level, were you ever able to play at the collegiate level?
Yeah, I got lucky. You know, I got fortunate and I was recruited by a few schools and I decided to go to USF. And a funny story, you know, I was deciding between USF and Cincinnati. And my coach from USF flew home and met my mom because he knew I was a mama's boy. I remember being at Cincinnati and he called me and he was like, I got someone that wants to talk to you. So he gave the phone to my mom and my mom was like, I like this man. He sounds cool. And plus, you're going to graduate. And that was it. Mom made the decision for me. So I ended up going to USF.
All right, so now when you say the name USF, the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is the
Yes,
University of
yes,
South
yes,
Florida.
yes. Yes. You're right. Because when you put USF in Google, that's what'll come up. So the University of San Francisco.
All right, and that's out there in California, correct? Just
Yeah, that's
review.
in Cali. Yeah.
Now, what was your experience like playing at the collegiate level at the University of San Francisco?
Oh man. I mean, it was. I mean, through all the stuff that I've been through, I mean, nothing really really prepared me for being a student athlete at the highest level. I mean, you're going to a Jesuit institute where education is very good, and then you're playing, against some of the best teams on the Division I level. So, I mean, it was tough, and it helped matured me at a very fast pace. And I was on my own. It felt like I was the only one that didn't have family coming to the games. So I really had to hone in and kind of revert back to my roots back in the islands where we had to figure stuff out and just be tough mentally.
On every athlete's journey, there's that day that comes where they think that it might be over for them. It's not worth it anymore. I want to give up. Did you ever have those experiences?
I've had too many. And as much as I would like to make it seem like I've never felt like quitting, because I know some of my students and their parents are watching, but I've had many moments of feeling like quitting. And the issue with that is it was all connected to a coach. It was all connected to a person making me feel like I wasn't as good as I thought I was, and for as hard as I've worked. And when I really reminisce, talking about CB, one of my mentors, who's the complete opposite. But yeah, every time I felt like quitting, it was because of a coach.
What pushed you to keep going, that extra step that you could make it?
So many layers of motivation. And I think the one that I really held on to for the majority of my career was I sacrificed my family. I wasn't able to grow up with my family. I have so many nieces and nephews. To this day, my family still find it hard to track me down. And every time I feel like giving up, I'm like, man, you sacrificed growing up with your family. It's no turning back. So on top of all the other motivational factors, the main one is, I gave up my living with my family.
And that's really tough. When you grow up on an island that's 32 square miles, to not be able to see a family when you're accustomed to see them every day, I understand that pain. So that's definitely a tough one.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and the whole island is like a family.
Definitely. Now, were you ever able to play any youth organizations, travel ball, or anything of those sorts?
One of the finest moments or experiences of my life was playing on our junior national team with Cyril Benjamin being the head coach, who to this day is like a second dad. To this day, I talk to him once a week. I actually talked to him this morning. To this day is why I wear this New York Yankee hat, because that's all he wore and talked about. But, it wasn't until I went to Chicago off a little bitty island and I saw these buildings. And the thing that I can really remember is that I never felt intimidated by these buildings. I was like, man, there's so much more opportunities here in the States. So I became even hungrier. Then I started seeing different players from different places. We started playing teams that had the best players from like Chicago, New York, Europe. And it was at that point I realized that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And then when I went back home, it made me work even harder.
Now, how did things like Young Legs help you to prepare for high school and college basketball?
Oh man, Young Legs. Well, when you're a team filled with teenagers, I don't think anyone was over 18. Maybe one person. I think his name was Tomlin, and he was a fireman or something. He was just like our bully. But no one was over 18. And when you're playing against grown men, when you think about playing against a kid or a teenager, you're not trying to really lose. So we got roughed up a lot. It was incredibly physical. And I think, developing the mental strength to withstand, older guys, grown men beating down on you, just helped us, just catapult us into our careers in high school and in college.
I think you definitely earn a lot of respect by just going out with the older guys and never wanting to quit, never backing down from them. I think you earn that level of respect from them, and that's something that pushes you a long way as well.
I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but I grew up playing on Griffith Park. I remember playing when I was really young, and I wanted to call foul. And one of the OGs looked at me and was like, "Are you bleeding?" I was like, "Nah." He's like, "Okay, let's go." So, I mean, growing up on the islands, you know, it's not. I'm not saying people are down there violent, you know, trying to kill people, but it was physical. And I think all over the country, when you play on the playground, it's physical, and that mental strength that you develop from playing against that type of game or in that game, you know, prepares you for anything.
Now, I heard you mention playing for the junior men's national team. Were you able to play for the the men's national team as well?
Oh man, I did, and you know, we had a lot of fun. Played against some great players, develop a lot of really good relationships, you know, with the coaches and some of the players. And yeah, I did. I got lucky, and I did.
Now, you can't just make a statement and say you played against great players and not tell us who these great players are. Who are some of the great players
Um,
that you played against?
should I say from the islands first, and then the states, or just blend them all up?
You know what? You can go from the islands first because you definitely want to hear that.
Man, I think I've talked about this dude more than I've talked about myself. Jabari Brown. And if he's listening, yeah, I still talk about you. Jabari Brown, Akin Joseph, T. Gun, Cut Butt, Cuffy, Cortez Tongue, Caesar, Akil Lewis. I know he watching. The big gun, they used to call him because he would shoot from half court. Boo Boo. I mean, you got to put CB in there because even when we were young, CB used to still pick the ball up and shoot our eyes out. And going to the States, man, so many. I mean, Adam Morrison, I think one of the best players I ever played against was Jameer Nelson. He was the number one player in the country. David West when he was at Xavier. Dan Dickey, Melvin Eli. You know, when we went to Oregon with our junior national team, Amari Stoudemire was there. Carlos Hurt, David Lee, TJ Ford, who was the number one point guard at the time. I mean, it's just endless. Paul McPherson out of Chicago, who was like the Vince Carter before Vince Carter. I mean, it's just so many. Some of them I can't even remember, but I remember them when it got to the league or it got to college.
That's a long list of great players you played against, and I'm sure playing against those great players helped polish you as a player as well.
And I can't forget because I played in like the local version, San Francisco version of our pro league down there, and actually did pretty decent. You know, won a championship there. But Jason Richardson played there. Gilbert Arenas was in there. Steph played. The best defender I ever played against was probably Matt Barnes. You know, so yeah, I mean, I've had my share of battles, and all respect to all those great players.
Now, most of those players that you mentioned earlier are players that actually played in the Virgin Islands, played on the national team as well. Do you think we have a lot of players that are able to compete at the collegiate level or play overseas?
Well, I think, especially in a place like the Caribbean or Virgin Islands where I'm from, you know, if you have the right structure, the right regiment for these kids, and the right, you know, attention to detail and the right messaging. You know, because I think oftentimes programs preach the development of the athlete and not development of the person. And I have to understand when you're trying to go to these high schools and these colleges where they're looking for the student athlete, you know, as a whole, we're missing the ball when we're not telling these kids that, you know, you got to be a good teammate. You got to be a good person. You got to do good in school, and you got to develop holistically. So I believe with the right program, I think we can develop some more Tim Duncans and some more Jabari Browns, you know, some more Cuff, some T-Guns, you know. I think, of course, and I haven't been there in a while. I haven't seen what's being developed there, but I think with the right program down there, you can develop, you know, some really good talent. Got to get CB involved, though.
Now, personally, I haven't seen you play, but what are some of the biggest accomplishments you had on the court while playing?
I mean, honestly, if you ask me that question and I'm just, you know, uttering one word, you know, I won. You know, I pride myself on being a winner. You know, I pride myself on cultivating the right environment, you know, and I actually credit that to how I was raised on the islands. Because, you know, in the islands, you walk everywhere, you say hello to everyone. So you always felt like you were a part of something bigger than yourself. And that's one thing I brought to all my teams. So I haven't really lost or had too many losing seasons. But if you want like stats and accomplishments, you know, won a championship for the England League where Nick Nurse, who won a championship with the Toronto where he coached, won a Pro-Am championship against Matt Barnes and his team, you know, led it in scoring, you know, went to the NIT with USF, you know, so a couple of things, none glamorous.
Now, while we understand basketball is important, what are the other things that are important to you in life?
My mom is watching, she'll say health. I gotta make sure I say that because I know I'm gonna get a text.
Yeah, we don't want to upset mama. We don't want to upset her.
No, definitely not. I would say family, you know, and I know I haven't, like I said in the beginning, you know, I'm not really that accessible because I'm over here trying to change the world, but you know, I love my family and I'm always, you know, having them on my mind. My son, everyone knows that if there's anything I want to be remembered for is that I showed up as a dad. So health, my family, my son, and the academy and everyone that's involved, you know, whether you're a board member or a parent or a kid or a person that, you know, produce our apparel, you know, I got mad love for everyone because, you know, you're helping us do something really impactful in the world.
All right, now we heard you mention the academy, and we can all see that you're wearing the academy shirt. Tell us, what is Empower Me Academy?
Man, there's so much to unpackage. The thing there's so much, it's like a floodgate coming. When we have former collegiate athletes and former pros or even coaches that have been somewhat successful, when it comes to the academy and they witness and experience, you know, they feel the culture, the energy, you know, to see the temperaments of these young kids. A lot of them usually say, man, I wish I had this when I was their age. And that's a pretty gratifying compliment to hear. And I think it's just what a youth program should be. You know, we're about developing leaders. You know, we try to echo to the students that, you know, there can only be one best player on a team, but there can be numerous leaders. You know, we always tell the kids, like, the reason why the Warriors were so good is not only because they were talented, but they had a lot of leaders. So we pride ourselves on developing leaders, pride ourselves on being holistic, where we're, you know, telling the kids to be mindful, you know, of how they think. Negativity does not exist at the academy. We try not to use negative words when we're even communicating. We try to teach the kids to have positive self-talk. We love yoga. You know, we've introduced yoga to the kids. We're probably one of the few academies where we have yoga that's a part of our clinics, which is considered camps. And the basketball is top notch. You know, it's you know, fundamentals, but it's also very detail oriented, and it's a lot of effort and passion that goes into crafting these drills.
Now, when did you get started with the Empower Me Academy?
It feels like it's been you know, like in my head, you know, growing for like over 10 years. But it started in 2013. Started in 2013. So it's been, 7 years.
And what's your key to keeping it running for so long and keeping it so high? I mean, if you don't want to give away secrets now, we understand that. That's fine.
No, it's no secret. You know, we want Empower Me Academy to blanket the country. I mean, you know, we think that there needs to be a shift in the narrative for sports. You know, it's too often we hear that sports is the end goal versus sports is the vehicle or the tool to develop into a better human.
Definitely.
You know, into a better person. Because at the end of the day, we all got to, I mean, I'm retired. Everyone is going to have to retire. And at the end of the day, what have you developed and who have you developed into, you know, after you've done playing sports? My mom always told me, make sure who you are as a person outshines who you are as a player. And that stuck with me. And that's the kind of message, you know, we try to echo at EMN. Don't get it twisted, though. We're developing players, too. A lot of people get it mixed up with the kumbaya and the hands together. Like, no, we're developing players. But what's keeping me going is until we have Empower Me Academies all over and we're touching every kid or influencing other organizations to be like us, because we don't think we can, service every kid. That would be foolish to think. Until that's happening, there's no stopping.
Right.
This is something I'm willing to a lot of people are not going to like me saying this, but I'm willing to die for this cause.
And a lot of people aren't as dedicated as you are. So I think that is one of the reasons for your big success with the Empower Me Academy.
I appreciate it. I don't take full credit. My parents, my mom and dad had some unbelievable work ethic. Then I witnessed how CB cared about us. I mean, really and truly, I just had a lot of great examples and I paid attention. As a human being, we walk through life and we have so many people that can influence us to be powerful and positive. And what I do, I try to X people out that are negative. I'm not saying like I, mock them, but, I try to avoid people that don't have anything positive to say and surround myself with people that are uplifting. And, so a lot of credit goes to people that are surrounding EMA.
Now, basketball is a big part of the Empower Me Academy. How do you use basketball as a teaching and grooming tool for young kids?
Well, I think even at the basic level, I mean, if you play sports, especially basketball, where it's a very universal sport, you just learn. I mean, you just learn how to work with others. You learn how to, fail and try again. I mean, basketball is a sport of mistakes.
Right.
And at Empower Me Academy, we teach kids from the first time we interact with them. We teach them like mistakes are your friends. I mean, can you imagine hearing that as a kid? I mean, when we grew up, like we didn't want to make mistakes. I need to be perfect. But if you really look back, when you look back on who you are now, mistakes made you who you are today. So if you tell a kid at a young age, embrace mistakes. We're not telling you to make mistakes, but embrace it. Tell yourself, okay, I just made a mistake. How can I prevent this from happening again? So, oftentimes we tell people like you'll see a lot of balls bouncing and shots being made, but the conversations are primarily about life.
Now, what age does your academy start at? What's the age range?
Listen, if we could, we'll get them out of the stomach, but we start at kindergarten. We want them early because, if we could start programming kids, to be kind, to be hardworking, to be good humans and want to be leaders and know that their voice is the most powerful asset they have from a young age, it's powerful.
Now, when these kids finish with the Empower Me Academy, are you able to keep up with them and track them through life somewhat?
Well, that's interesting. That's a really good question. You've been asking a lot of good ones. Our first batch of students, I should say, they're just like now going to high school. I mean, not high school, but like in a year or two, they'll be going into college. One of our first students just committed to Morgan State to play basketball. But the thing that we were most proud of is that she's going there because she wants to be a woman of color and be a FBI agent. And I think that kind of echoes our message that, not only do we want to develop high class, high character athletes, but also leaders that want to make change in the world. Because that's how you change the world, is through the kids.
Now, did you have any difficulty starting this academy? And if so, what helped you get through those?
I think the difficulty, as you know, being in San Francisco where real estate is at a premium, although I started at USF, I think the biggest challenge was convincing people that basketball should be used as a tool versus an end goal. Mm-hmm. And gym space. I mean, when you're in a place like I said, San Francisco, it's hard to find gym space. So it feels like we've used at least 15 different locations. But it's been challenging just convincing people that, basketball is a tool.
I'm definitely familiar with the lack of space. We have a lot of talented athletes at home, I think, in the Virgin Islands. We just don't have the space, the facilities, the fields to provide a safe space for these athletes.
Oh, man. Don't get me started on the islands. Yeah.
What facilities besides USF did your organization occupy, or do you have under your belt?
Well, right now we're using a community center called Booker T. Washington, and we sometimes rent out Urban High School where my son went to last year. And we're working on finding our own place, our own home, because I think until we have our own place where we can call home, and concrete it, create a hub in San Francisco and start thinking about expanding, we'll be, not really servicing our students and families the way we're capable of. We still got a lot more to unlock for these kids because these kids need more.
Right.
I don't think there's anything more important than kids, because at the end of the day, when we all fade away, the kids take over. And if we're not putting them in better positions to do a better job than we have, then what's the purpose? So yeah.
Now, with you being a father, how hard is it for you to balance your work life and your at home life?
Listen, I lost a lot of friends once my son moved here, and rightfully so, because it's another topic to get into, but I didn't really get into my son's life until he was about 9, and that was a sad moment up until that point. But once I got involved with him, it was like I got to make up time. I got to make up the time that we didn't spend. And then I moved him in 2 years ago, and it felt like he's been like I'm a socket, and he's been plugged into me from the time he moved in. But I mean, that's my job as a dad, and so he became the focal point of my focus. The academy, took a slight back seat, and then it was me third. So yeah, so it's been, being a single dad, entrepreneur in one of the most expensive cities in the world. Someone told me one day at a coffee shop, they looked at me, they came, and one of my friends, he said, "You know what I've noticed? You were doing one of the most difficult things." And I didn't really think about it till he brought it up. You're a single dad in San Francisco running a business that no one really has ever seen. And I was like, I put my hands on I'm like, man, I ain't never really thought, because you don't really have time to think about it when you're in the grind. You're trying to really do the best you can as a dad. You're trying to really keep a business, afloat. You don't really have time to sit back and wonder what you're doing. You just do it.
Now, Empower Me sounds like you're headed uphill right now. What other or new big plans do you have for the academy?
Oh, we have a lot. We have a lot. And, I credit the board that we have. We're a nonprofit now. We have 14 board members. All have been instrumental, but there's been a few that, that has really catapult EMA, David Glickman, Pam Russian, Davin, McAndrews, Karen Kindler, Stephanie. There's so many of these leaders who kids have been in the program and have taken, the responsibility to help us take this to another level because they believe in it. So we got big plans, and when I say I'm not just, that saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Yeah, with this board, I'm definitely not the smartest, and I love it. We got big plans. But first, we got to find a home. We find a home.
Might be the hardest thing, but you know where home always really is, though.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Now, COVID is something that affected everybody's lives horribly at that. How has COVID affected your progress for the academy?
Oh, man, great question. Believe it or not, it impacted us, both from a positive and negative standpoint. From a negative standpoint, as you can imagine, when your business is predicated on being in front of people, being somewhat hands-on with the kids, that's going to impact you tremendously. And credit goes to the team that when COVID hit and they put us, under that shelter in place, instead of really panicking, we took our time, we huddled up a few times, we came up with this virtual curriculum and launched it like a week or two after everyone else. Because, we have a saying at the academy, everything we do with excellence, and we do it, with patience and detail. So we took our time and we launched it, and it went really well for the ones that signed up. But on the more positive side, when everyone is going through this COVID experience, whether you're an adult or a kid, we're all going through some mental challenges. And I think right now, a lot of the families that know about us, I mean, we've probably had 30 people sign up during the COVID pandemic, but people are grappling and looking for something positive. And because our messaging is always positive, we want our social media, we want our shirts, we want everything we do to be an inspiration, whether you're engaged with us or not. And I think from a positive standpoint, it's unlocked and really make people aware of how important it is to be a part of an organization that only preaches positivity and really speaks to the soul of the youth.
All right, Jerome, we're actually going to take a break right now so we can hear some words from our sponsors, have a little commercial. We'll be right back with you in 5 minutes with more Between the Lines, presented to you by Livewire Sports.
Awesome.
We're back with Between the Lines, presented to you by Livewire Sports. We're back with Jerome Gumbs, the founder of Empower Me Academy. Jerome, you still here?
Oh, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. You might have to get rid of me.
We decided to give you a little break because, you had to answer a lot of questions. So we hope you're ready for part 2 now.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to be here. You have no idea. I'm like a kid in Toys R Us.
All right, so what makes the Empower Me Academy different from other youth basketball programs?
I think I slightly mentioned it, but, when someone asked me that question in the past and hopefully everyone can, understand this, but we would like to think we want to develop the next Steph Curry, who happens to retire and becomes the next Barack Obama, and what that simply means is, we want to develop great players, but we want players to feel like that it's as important to do good, in the community, as well as it was for them to do it in the sport. I know a lot of us can't really relate to LeBron, but what LeBron does off the court to me is by far one of the most incredible things that that an athlete has ever done. And so that makes it from one standpoint different. Also, I think our attention to details and the way we coach our kids. We push them to these limits, because oftentimes as a kid, you think, going past your comfort zone is something you shouldn't do. And we actually think that by definition, hard work is when you go past your comfort zone. So if you ask any student or even parent at the academy, you ask them, what is the definition of hard work at EMA? And they'll all respond, going past your comfort zone. So if you're not going past your comfort zone, we don't think you're working hard. And just be a good human. I often tell people, like, could you imagine the world if we all competed to be the best human versus the richest, the most attractive, and all that other stuff? I mean, just for a second, imagine a world where everyone is competing to be the most incredible humans. And we're not saying our kids are saints, but we preach that, being a good player is as important as being a good human. So just a different messaging, that's really starting to become somewhat, potent now because of COVID.
I definitely agree with that. That aspect, you want to treat the whole child. You want them to be good in school, good on the court, good in the community, just a good overall person that they can be proud of themselves. Not necessarily you proud of them, but they're proud of themselves and are making an impact that leads to a train where everybody gets to jump on the train, and now it's a longer train than what it was before. So I definitely agree with you on that.
I was talking to a guy, and I feel embarrassed. I don't remember his name, but he runs this youth program, leadership program on the East Coast. He's been doing it for about 30 years. He's been a part of it for almost 50 because he was in it when he was younger. And we had a really good conversation because he was, kind of giving me some advice and some stuff. And as we were getting off the phone, he said, "Coach, I need to tell you something because I know you're banging your head against the wall and trying to figure stuff out." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Listen, what you and your team are doing for your kids, they won't understand or really appreciate it until they're in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I felt as comfortable with what we're doing until someone that has been doing it for 30 years told me that. Because we live in a world where everything is instant, push car, instant message. You text someone, they don't text you back. You see that they read your message.
Right.
And you're like, what's going on? And you send them a next message like, listen, I just messaged you. So when you live in a world like that, you expect everything to be instant. And, what we're doing is we don't expect it to see the rewards. And we don't expect rewards anyway, but we don't expect the kids to really grasp what we're doing until they get older. So we tell them, listen, we're doing this for the adult version of you. So it's okay for you to be upset, So, yeah.
And the great thing about children, they're going to be upset for a little while, but they're going to get over it. And when, like you said, when they get into their 20s, 30 years old, they look back and say, this experience taught me this, or this situation made me a better person. So that's exactly what you want to go for.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to CB. Like I said, CB, I've known CB for like 30-something years. He coached when I was 9. Mm-hmm. I talked to CB like almost every week, and some of my other coaches that have been very influential in my life. So, we got to get back to where sports, the coaches are educators. Coaches are people that we would welcome into our homes and not just people we just want our kids to just hang out and, and burn time with.
That's one of the great things about our community. We have some of the same coaches coaching generations of players, and they get to see the final outcome of the child as we get older. And when we come back and tell them thank you for the smallest of things, they're just like they're so appreciative, and that keeps them moving. So we definitely have to tell those older coaches that have coached us before that just thank you, and thanks for us and how they helped us to keep them motivated as well, to know that what they're doing is the right thing.
Yes, I agree. Well said.
Now, while you are the guided hand for a lot of these kids in the Power Me Academy, what do you expect from them as they graduate?
We like to think that we want our students to impact their environment. We want them to take the culture of EMA, which is very unique and different, uplifting, positive, and don't be afraid to be that same person amongst their friends, because, as peer pressure is very powerful. So what we expect our students is to take, the Empower Me Academy way of living and way of thinking to their schools, to their homes, and everything else. You know, a lot of families share how at the dinner table, you know, oftentimes when, you know, a kid is not doing what they're supposed to, they'll be like, would you do that at Empower Me Academy? And the kid will be like, you know what? No. So, you know, where we become the culture where people use as a, a guiding tool to help their kids, you know, really trampoline into the world. You know, I think that's what we want consistently, for kids to be the impact, to change others. There's no greater or more gratifying thing for a kid, for his peers or her peers, to want to be like them. And we tell them that, and that's what leaders do.
We see that you are making a great impact out on the West Coast, and we love to see the progress you're making. Would you be interested in making a branch of the Empower Me Academy back at home in the Virgin Islands?
Probably the best question you ask all night. I think that's another thing that keeps me going. You know, I don't know if you ever had a feeling of leaving the oven on or the stove on, and it feels like that's. I'm not saying the Virgin Islands is burning, but it feels like I gotta hurry up and do what I'm doing here so I can take everything that I've learned back to the Virgin Islands. Because as you know, and we don't have to get into it, but you know, I played basketball really to save my life, right, and to change my life. And if I can learn how to do it here and take it home and help develop so many of the kids that really desperately need it, you know, in the Caribbean, especially the Virgin Islands, you know, I think until that's happening, I have a mountain to climb. There's already a mountain here in San Francisco, but that's always been on the back of my mind, you know, because I love home so much, and it kills me to know that I haven't done anything there yet. So that's a great question.
Now, I heard you talking about using basketball to save your life. Can you go into detail a little bit, just in case we have some viewers out there that might be going through the same thing, to see how they can bridge their path to greatness, to becoming better, to put themselves in a better situation?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I kind of lost you.
I heard you mention that you use basketball to save your life. How can you explain what happened with you that can help people or children that are going through the same things get out of that situation?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, it's hard because if you don't have, you know, and like I said, you know, I apologize for not really being aware of what's going on St. Thomas. But I mean, when you have someone like a Cyril Benjamin who would drive to pick you up, I mean, he would drive around the whole island picking everyone up that didn't have cars and take them to go work out. And when you have people like that, it's hard to gravitate away from something so positive. But the advice I would give to any kid is to find people that believe in you. You know, if there's one thing you do with a kid, or if there's one thing a kid should seek after, is someone that believes in them. And because it's the most powerful ingredient to being successful, to be around people that believe in you, even when you're spitting out crazy ideas. Sometimes I just spit crazy ideas out to see some of my board members and see what they say, and they're all like, you know what, let's do it. And it's an incredible thing to surround yourself with people that empower you, and that's the true essence of empowerment: people that believe in you.
And that's a great way to look at it, and it's definitely something that will be able to help our viewers if they need to get out of the situation that they're currently in.
Or they could just call me.
Hey, we definitely will provide your number.
No. I'm already hard now.
All right. So you survived the interview portion of this. What we want to do is get into our interactive game. It's called This or That. You have two options. You pick between this or that. Some of them are very sane, very familiar, and some of them are just way out there. Are you ready for that?
Oh no. Go ahead. Yeah. Listen. I like how everything was planned out, but this was not part of the agenda. But go ahead.
That's exactly how it works. Got to catch him by surprise.
All
right. You will be judged after you answer certain questions. Think hard, but don't think too long.
All right, got it.
All right, this or that. Greater coach, Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson?
Greg Popovich.
Why Greg Popovich? I got you there.
Well, because he developed players.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny you brought up San Antonio or Greg Popovich because sometimes we're called the San Antonio of youth sports because we focus on the fundamentals. And one thing that Greg Popovich said that I echo a lot is the reason why they've been so successful is because as a team, as an organization, they focus on the things that you do more often in the games, like passing, rebounding, screening, versus doing all the fancy stuff where you only do it once in a game. So Greg Popovich, by far, and his support for all the stuff that's going on in society as a coach, like for me, it's hard for me to subtract the person and the athlete or the coach.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a really good coach, a really good player, but off the court, there's a huge disconnect, I'm not really a fan,
Right.
So Greg Popovich by far.
I will take that. You provided a good answer, so we can understand where you're coming from with that one.
Listen, I've been debating Greg Popovich for a while. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Bungee jumping or skydiving?
Oh, that's a good one. Wow. To tell you, I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I've been thinking I want to skydive one of these days. I think I got to do it in increments. Though. I got to do it like a certain feet and a certain height. You can't take me to the top right away. I'm terrified of heights, I'm from the islands.
It's probably horrible of me to ask that question because I'm doing neither of those. Trust me.
So that's why you asked the question. You see, you didn't give me an out. If you told me I didn't have to do it, I would be like, neither one.
There's no out. Pressure situation, you have to pick one.
I'm jumping out of a plane, but I'm attached to someone that knows what they're doing.
Definitely. No risk involved. All right. Cookie Point or Lindbergh Bay?
Oh, Lindbergh Bay.
Did you live in a town area or country?
Town.
You're biased.
That was a setup question. That was a setup question.
Usually, a lot of people who live in the town area favor the town beaches, and the country area favor the country beaches. So that was definitely very biased on your part.
Oh man, you called me out. I love it. That was good. This is good.
All right, gold medal or NBA championship?
Wow. I would say gold medal.
And I'm gonna say that. I'm thinking that's a sense of pride there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say gold medal.
There's nothing like competing for your country and putting your country on a world stage and performing at that level. So I definitely would say gold medal as well. So I definitely agree with you on that one.
Yeah, good. I'm glad we're agreeing.
On one.
You've been leaving me hanging on most of these, so I appreciate the love.
Coconut or guava tart?
Man. It's funny because everyone over here in San Fran think I love coconut. Anything coconut, I'll be at at restaurants or in a fridge. Oh, coconut, hey, Island boy. But guava. God, I love me some guava.
And this might be the end of this interview because nobody likes guava tart. Nobody.
Yeah?
Well, I'm going to cancel the whole interview right now.
Hey, but listen, my parents grew guava in the backyard, so I have a different relationship with guava, right? So if you want to talk about bias, yeah. So I love guava.
So where does pineapple fit between there?
Nah, it's too sweet.
Ooh. Oh. I was definitely picking pineapple, even though that wasn't an option.
Oh, man.
All right. On the court, Kobe Bryant or LeBron James?
LeBron.
Ooh.
LeBron. I'm more of a Kobe Bryant fan, rest in peace. After he retired, I played with Kobe Bryant cousin. I love him to death. But we always had arguments because I felt Kobe could have probably been the best ever. But Kobe was so driven to be the greatest that he forgot to lift people up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And me, where I preach leadership, you know, and if Kobe, because he started doing it after the 2 years where he didn't make it to the playoffs, where he embraced Paul Gasol, and he even got an interview like, Kobe, I thought you never used to celebrate and pump your fist. He's like, my teammates do it, so I'm gonna do it. Before that, Kobe didn't do none of that. Right. And I think if he had done that before and won a few more championships and just just lift everyone else up with him because he was that good. But yeah, so LeBron, because from the time he got into the league, he's taking everyone with him. I mean, look what he's done with his friends off the court. So again, I'm biased based on the things that I believe in. You know, I believe in taking everyone up. You don't climb a mountain to look down on people. You climb a mountain to bring everyone up.
So who is the greatest of all time?
Oh, man. I might get unplugged for this one. Oh, man. Listen, you could probably research on my page. I've been a professional LeBron debater.
Ooh.
I think LeBron is the greatest of all time.
Wow. I
think. And listen, we're going to need a whole nother segment to dial into that. But LeBron, and like
I love LeBron as a person off the court. He's probably one of the greatest athletes ever. I'm not a LeBron James fan, but when he's off the court, I support him any day. So I definitely understand where you're going with that.
Yeah. Well, single mom, you know, take a team to like we can go on. I'm telling you, I've been doing this. Like, I should be certified as a LeBron debater. So if we're going to debate this, make sure you come with all the stats, because I tell people all the time, say, Michael is better without saying 6 rings.
Mm-hmm.
No one has ever been able to tell me he's better without 6 rings.
We need to get you. After this, you might take a little step up and go to ESPN, because you got that debate ready for them.
Oh, man. LeBron needs to pay me how much I talk about him. But all jokes aside, I mean, we can debate that all day, but off the court, I don't think there's anyone close to him.
Right.
I think that's what gives him the edge for me, because like I said, the way I was raised, the way CB mentored us, who you are off the court is who you are. There's no disconnect, so you got to uphold that same level of excellence off the court. So I'm a LeBron fan.
All right, getting back into it. Tom and Juice or Cyril?
Tom and Juice.
Why? That one was too easy for you.
What do you mean? Because I've had it more.
There's passion anywhere between there.
Passion fruit, yeah. If you say passion fruit, yeah, I choose passion fruit all day.
I try not to make this too easy, but that one day was an easy answer for you, so I don't get that one.
But you gotta understand though, right? The accent coming up. I haven't lived home for a very long time, so you're bringing up some very precious memories. So when you say those things, my taste buds start to inflame.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Bring you back home. Under Armour or Adidas? I see you wearing Nike, so I have to give you 2 other options.
Hey, you like a lot. Adidas. If you're going Under Armour, I actually know someone that works at Under Armour. I feel bad for saying it, but none. I don't think I've ever worn anything Under Armour.
Under Armour seems to be on the rise as far as like their athletes and their products. So hey, you might take over sometime in the future.
We might be from a different planet, and hopefully I don't get any documents from Under Armour for talking smack. But I don't see it. I mean, if it wasn't for Steph, Steph is gonna go down as one of the greatest. I don't think they would be relevant.
Ooh, it's a tough one there.
But that's just my opinion.
Right.
It's my opinion. I'm old now, so I gravitate towards Nike. The younger kids, some of our students love Under Armour. So let me take that back. I apologize, Under Armour. You've done an excellent job up to this point. You're great, but I'm choosing Adidas.
All right, so you survived on this or that segment barely, but you survived.
Oh man.
We're gonna open up the live to any questions that the viewers would like to ask you. But before we get to that, we have a collection of interesting pictures here that we need.
Wait. Hold on.
Surprise.
Wait. Hey, I gotta go. I got an appointment.
All right, so we're gonna put some pictures up, but we just want you to say what comes to mind. What were you thinking? When was this? We need a description, something about this picture.
Hey, I gotta tell certain people to log off. Oh man. This is a powerful one. You know, my best friend was in red. I was probably 16. Man, you know, he got murdered. That was a tough one. Yeah, this is. I mean, we all look so happy and innocent, but man, we all went through so much stuff. You know, it was 3 years after I almost died off my bicycle accident.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not expect this picture. Although I'm the one that posted it, but yeah, that brings back a lot of memories. Ciao, Bob. Rest in peace.
We actually saw the post, and we thought it was something that you could share with our viewers of how you persevered through a time like this that would normally drag somebody down.
I don't know. I remember praying to whoever I believed in then that, you know, if he gave me a second chance, because I was supposed to have emergency surgery on my head. You know, I actually got flown in an emergency ambulance from St. Thomas to Puerto Rico overnight. And I remember just praying. That was the first time I saw my mom just bawling. And I remember saying, like, man, I just need one more chance. And miraculously, I didn't have to have surgery. And then from that day on, I just started changing because, you know, I was a terror. You know, my mom was probably watching and saying, yeah, that boy was a terror. You know, but it wasn't until I almost died I started realizing that, you know, a lot of people don't get second chance. So I always felt there was a reason why I was still alive. And I think Empower Me Academy is becoming that reason. You know, I know it's a long time after, but that picture brings back a lot of memories. And that's when I really started, you know, realizing who I was and who I was going to be.
And that's a great story to see you persevere from a situation that wasn't the best or the brightest thing for you, and just to see you keep pushing and finding your purpose or what you feel is your purpose in life. So we definitely are proud of you for getting through that situation.
Oh man, I want to hit hard. I've seen that picture numerous times, but that one, that was good. That was good. You do a hell of a job with this.
You have some explaining to do here.
Hey, where am I? Oh man, what was I thinking? That's when we won the championship. Oh, I thought I was too cool. If they can't see, I'm in the far left. You can barely see my eyes. Too much sun. Nah, that was a squad. That was freshman, sophomore year.
Now, who are some of the guys in the picture that might be well known?
Oh man, Tumpy with the dreads. Who else? The glove. Oh man, some of these dudes I don't remember. Tito, I think he's a fireman now. Miguel. Oh, Pooch, Christian. Who else? Man, some of these dudes I don't remember.
Who was a coach?
Estrel, I think. Man, it's been so long. We talking a long time. I'm not gonna say how long so people know how old I am, but I think it was Estrel.
All right, gonna move on to the next picture.
Oh man, you pulling up all the ones. What was this? Oh. Why I always got my head to the side? Where were we? I think we were in Milwaukee. You know where CB is. I think we were in Milwaukee. I think. Akil, my son. That dude could shoot. Coffee. Lee Board. Khalid.
Now, what was the
I said,
result of you guys playing in this particular photo?
I think we won gold. I think this is the year we won gold. The 16 under team won gold, and the 19 or 18 and under team with Jabari T, kind of them dudes. They won gold too. I could be wrong. I'm sure Stevie gonna send me a text and like I was either right or wrong.
These pictures showing your age right now, man.
Hey, listen, you need to stop. That's it, right? Good job. Thanks for having me.
We got more. Definitely got more.
Listen, I didn't sign up for this. Oh man.
Are we gonna move on to the next picture?
You having a blast with this.
I'm loving this right now.
So wait, I didn't see this on any of the other. Oh, this is not a bad one. Where am I? Oh, I'm watching. See, I'm already stealing coaching plays. I was always the one in the huddle, even if I wasn't in the game. Yeah, this was a national team. We was in Puerto Rico.
How did that get you guys? Was it successful?
Oh, nah, not according to our standards. I think we came in like 3rd or 4th. Could be wrong. Might have been less. I had so much going on during them times. But that was fun though.
What was it like just wearing that Virgin Islands jersey?
Oh, it was a lot of pride. I mean, but I've been playing on our junior national team since I was like, 14, 15. So, and that's why when you asked me that question about gold medal or NBA championship, I decided a gold medal because I know what that pride feels like.
Now, with you competing at that level, what are some of the countries you have been to?
I mean, I've been to almost 22 countries because of ball. But because of the national team, Puerto Rico, I mean, everything was like in the Caribbean. Bahamas, St. Croix. I mean, St. Croix is like literally home.
And by no means was this a vacation, correct?
No.
Business trip.
Business, as always.
All right, moving on to the next picture.
Oh, man.
Well, we got a lot more. You didn't get in the way.
Did we win something? Oh, I think we came in 3rd or something. Man, these pictures dark. Yeah, I think we won gold or something. I'm not gold, like 3rd. Yeah.
That's a. Is that you said? Is that in where?
I think this was in the Bahamas. Yeah. Listen, we over the hour now, so we gotta stop.
Hey, if you think you're getting away, what about this one?
Oh man, that guy right there and his wife. Good people, Donovan, Blythe, and Marge. Donovan is like, the godfather of like skill development in the Bay Area. Mentored me. He was kind of like my trainer after I graduated. Well, he started training me when I was at USF and after. So I learned a lot from him. I still talk to him. He's still doing great things. He was actually doing some stuff with Kobe before Kobe died, rest in peace. But yeah, I had no family. My mom is never getting on a plane. So, they're still like family today. Right. So now this was senior night. Still have that picture somewhere.
Now, is that something? Yeah. When was the last time you've seen this picture?
Oh, it's been a while.
What kind of memories does it bring back?
That year was tough. That was my senior year. I actually quit basketball for a couple of weeks after that senior year because of the coach. We just had different views, but I had great times. I had great teammates. Some of them I'm still connected to. It brings back a lot of memories.
All right, we're gonna keep it going, keep it rolling. No, be honest. Did you make the shot?
Oh yeah, of course. I was the king of and ones.
All right, we're gonna find the footage and like make sure you made a shot.
Yeah, I was king of and ones. Yeah,
it looks like he's about to block it. So
wait, there's no way he's blocking that. I'm still going up. He's at his peak. I'm still going up. You know, he's stretching because he knows he's not going up anymore. Why am I so far back on defense?
All right. You might have us placed on the bench now if you're so far back on defense.
Listen, I was scoping out the cross court pass. See? He trying to get by forgot his name. How I forget my boy name? We were just texting him the other day. Yeah, I was running trying to get a steal from the back. You see how I looking? I cooping him.
Hey, this picture will make me believe so, but I don't know if it happened for real.
It's a good thing. Look at this one.
Is this Michael Jordan or Jerome Gumbs? Tongue out.
Hey, this is one of the most embarrassing pictures. Listen, I am willing to pay someone to delete this off the internet. Oh man, I scored this. Yeah, I scored this.
Yeah.
This is in Mexico. Yeah, I scored this.
I'll give you this one, you right there. This one you definitely scored. I'll give you that one.
Yeah. I can still jump a little bit then.
Moving on.
Man, what's up with these faces?
The next time you do a basketball move, you're gonna be thinking about how you looked in these pictures. I'm telling you.
Listen, hey, but you know what? That could lead you to believe I didn't care what people thought. So yeah, I didn't care. I got the dunk, I got the 2 points, and we're probably winning. So yeah, it's all good.
Going to go to the next one.
Where was this? Yeah, this is the same. That's the same. Same team.
Now, what was it like playing with this core of players for a couple of years?
No, it was cool. You know, I developed a relationship with a lot of them, and I mean, the thing I loved about the national team, and you know, the coaches usually do a good job of finding people that are good people. You know, like I said, I know I've been echoing that same theme, but I mean, it just makes working hard a lot easier when you have people around you that are just good people. You know, so it was good. And we ate good too, so it was great. We probably didn't have the outcomes we wanted to all the time, but we did well. What is this?
A couple more, and then we're gonna move on to the question from the viewers.
Oh man, what is this? Oh man, I think I was in Luxembourg trying to help a team from going down. I became like the savior of teams, and I actually did a good job. Is it this? I don't even know, but yeah, this was in Luxembourg. Love the shirt. Yeah, I love BMWs. That's when we won the championship in England.
What was that like to win a championship in international waters?
Oh man, it was great because we struggled the whole season. You know, I think the first couple of weeks I tore my calf. Another guy that went to Syracuse, he broke his hand. Like we had another guy from Fresno. He's actually in the East Bay now, Kevin. He broke his thumb. Like so, for the entire season, we never had everyone healthy until we started going to the playoffs. So we were like the last seed, and we played like the top seed, and we beat them because we were all healthy, and we were just booming, and we just won. We just went on this crazy run.
Next picture. This is an interesting one, isn't it?
Man, that's one dude. That's family. You know, Jabari Brown, probably the best one. Could have been. I won't say could have been. Probably one of the best players to ever come out of St. Thomas. You know, and it's always energizing to see him. I know he probably wished, you know, certain things could have happened, but to this day, he's still an inspiration to me and everyone else that hears his story. So yeah, that's a good one. Finally got me smiling, not looking like I'm some kind of, you know, like I'm trying to scare the kids in a zombie movie or something.
Now, I just love your reaction to all of these pictures. This was great. It worked out perfect. Surprise.
Now you're good at this. You're good.
Right.
Now I know why you're the host.
All Moving on to the question from the viewers. The first question is from your former teammate Akil Lewis. What was your best memory about the Young Legs team?
The best what?
Your best memory.
That we won the championship. And that I led it in scoring and he didn't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nah, that we won. We won the championship, and no one thought we could.
Now, if we have to have a shootout right now, live on live wire, who's gonna win?
Akil.
All right, we might have to schedule that just in case, though.
Nah, Akil. But that there's more things you do in basketball, right? All right. So I just want to clarify that. All right.
You let him know he's a better shooter, but we might have to see this one-on-one basketball game.
No, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna take that bet yet. Go ahead, Akil. You're the best shooter.
All right. You talked about the Young Legs team traveling. Did you play in any local men's league?
Yeah. No. Other than the man league, no.
How did you do when you played in your men's league in California, like you said?
I mean, again, when I was on the right team with the right coaching, I excelled. It was funny because when I went to USF, and the coaches I played for, especially Philip Matthews, who gave me an opportunity to go to USF and gave me a scholarship, who, to this day, although he was tough on me, I still love him. But I still think he held me back a little bit. So it wasn't until I played Pro-Am, I started playing better, and then I was training with Donovan Blythe. And it's funny because when I started playing well, we won a championship, I was leading it in scoring. Everyone in San Francisco was like, wow, he's gotten so much better. But everyone from home, including CB and everyone that knew me, everyone was like, finally, so I did pretty well. And I did well only because of coaching. And it goes back to the theme, when you have the right coaching and the right environment, anyone can really excel.
Can you share some of the extracurricular activities that you do that are beneficial to you, in basketball, I'm saying?
What do you mean? Well, I love yoga. When I first started doing it, I was like, where has this been my whole life? Mm-hmm. So immediately I started thinking, how can we, get this into the academy? And we found someone, Michelle Wing, who teaches It's Yoga Kids, who does a tremendous job in coaching kids for 20 years. I don't think there's anyone better than her at coaching kids. And, if we ever do get a space, we'll create this, room for her where she can do her thing. But I think yoga is one of the most powerful. It's been around for over 5,000 years or 50,000. I don't even know. When something has existed for that long, it has to be good.
It must be good.
So yeah. I work out a lot. Now with the COVID, I probably walk more than I do anything else. I walk for about 2 hours a day. And I like eating. I like to eat. And what else? What else I do? I used to love movies. I love to read when I have the bandwidth. Mm-hmm. Anything that can help me decompress, because, when I'm coaching the kids, I literally pour my soul into every kid, just like the other team members, Coach Andrew and all the coaches that have gone through. Mm-hmm. So anything that can help me replenish my energy and my mindfulness.
All right, so I heard you mention eating. What's your favorite restaurant back home in the Virgin Islands?
Oh, my house. You can ask anyone that knows my family. My family knows how to cook. I'm the only one
with that answer.
Nah, but no. I know everyone would say it, but I'm telling you, the whole family's trying to get our youngest sister, Karima Gumbs, to open up a restaurant. It goes down in our kitchen. And, so everyone could cook except me. I can cook a little bit, but compared to my sisters, no, I can't cook at all.
All right, we might have to get you to get back in the kitchen with your sister, since She's cooking too. I have to teach you.
Nah, no. I'm a focus on Empower Me Academy. She can cook.
If you need a personal chef, you know where to go, right?
Oh yeah, that's what. Secretly, don't tell her. I mean, when I have her come out here, that's really why I have her come out.
All right, can you share your view about your work-life balance? It's another question from the viewers.
Work-life balance. Honestly, there's no balance. I work, and then I work, and then I work. You know, the only time I don't work is when I'm sleeping, and I barely sleep because I'm always worrying about how to get this program to the next level.
All right, can you give a shout out to all the organizations that you have been a part of back home, or any coaches that you would like to mention?
Of course, Cyril Benjamin. Before I shout out any coaches, I got to shout out my mom, Ann Gumbs, my dad, Wilbert, my family. I mean, all my friends I grew up with. It's been hard to stay connected with everyone, especially trying to really change the world. But it's not a day go by I don't think about home, because home is how I became who I am, and I love each and everyone that's watching this. Shout out, CB, Kwanzaa, who else? I mean, my boy Danga, Troy, he was like my big brother growing up from the neighborhood. He's actually, not too many people know me by Jerome on St. Thomas. I'm surprised you didn't ask me that question. Do you know what people call me on St. Thomas?
The viewers are listening.
I wonder if anyone knows, but rarely anyone calls me Jerome. They call me Buju, and the name was given to me by Danga. Mm-hmm. And one of the most incredible stories of things Danga ever did for me is, and I want to get into the lifestyle at home, but I had a group of guys that were after me, and Danga went to them and be like, "Hey, this is the next basketball star," whatever he said, and he's with me, and he's a good dude, and if you mess with him, you mess with me, and these dudes were after me. To this day, I don't even know why. So enough respect and love for him. I talked to him a couple of days ago. If it wasn't for him, I would have been stressed out of my head, trying to go to school and try to figure out how to avoid these dudes. So, who else? Sylvester Lake, who's like another person who took me under his wing, my cousin. Oh man, so many names. I think that's it for now. And if I forgot to mention you, please take it easy on me. But please, but first and foremost, my family, everyone that grew up in Altona, you helped me get to this point, and I appreciate everything. Even when you told on me when I was doing bad things down the street and I got my butt whooped, yeah, I still appreciated it.
That's all part of it right there.
Yeah.
So now you spoke about a number of people during this interview, but who are your actual heroes or sheroes?
I like that. Number one, mom. My mom could have given up on me when I was younger, and she didn't. And that's why I'm incredibly patient with every kid that comes through the academy, because when my mom went through, if she can go through that and endure what I put her through, it's only my right to do the same and pass it on to others. CB, and every time I put this hat on, I think I'm channeling my CB, because that's all he wore. Not too many people knew that. I had to tell him that the other day to make sure he heard it before I said it on here. Martin Luther King, I think Barack Obama is going to go down as one of the most inspirational humans ever, because of what he did and how he kind of, took a whole race with him to the White House. And although we can all disagree and agree with some of the stuff and decisions he made, but at the end of the day, to see a Black man in the White House is incredibly inspiring. Heroes. Anyone that does good. Really. Anyone that makes an effort to be a good human and to do random acts of kindness. When random acts of kindness are not considered random anymore, that's when I think we'll be in good shape. Oh yeah, and one of my good friends, I know he's listening. He's not like a hero, but he's like one of my best friends, Chris Kindler. And I probably talk to him every day. But yeah, it's a lot of people I look up to. Board members. Yeah.
Now, do you have a particular mentor in the Virgin Islands back home?
CB. Yeah, I mean, CB is very important, not just to me, but to a lot of people. If it wasn't for him, I mean, he's changed. I would guarantee that every person that CB touched is somehow connected to doing something good. Because his influence on us off the court was powerful. And even to this day, he doesn't, stop from calling me out. If he thinks I'm not making a good decision, and those are the types of people you want around you. That's why he's been, a part of my circle my entire life. Because as close as we are, he's not afraid to tell me, like, no, that's not a good idea. You should deviate from that decision. So CB, Cyril Benjamin.
Another question from our viewers: what has basketball taught you about life?
That is precious. Because I've been able to travel the world, it's allowed me to mature at a much faster pace. And when you're able to see different parts of the world, it creates a different level of openness to your mind. It teaches me that it can disarm everyone because, like Nelson Mandela said, and it's on our website, sports has the power. So not just basketball, but any sport has the power to break down barriers that, normal politicians and policies can't. And it speaks the language of the youth. If you want to teach a kid anything, just have them play the sport they love and then tell them to go eat their greens and they'll make them better. So it's taught me a life. I think there's not too many sports that is the ultimate metaphor of life. I think basketball is a great platform to really help people prepare for life.
All right, so you mentioned CB a lot and his impact on a group of young men. I think we might need a live boy exclusive to get all of you guys to come on the show at one time. The whole young legs.
Just to say when, how, if I got to fly down to get CB and set up shop in his house, we're going to make this happen because I think people deserve to not only hear the story of young legs, but to get CB to talk. He doesn't like to talk about himself. And I think, I try to be like that, but we're going to find a way. Yeah, we're gonna full court press this.
You're still a young man. So where do you see yourself in about 10 years?
Hopefully empowering a lot of youth on the Virgin Islands. Hopefully setting up shop. It doesn't have to be me, but some other leader down there doing what we're doing here in San Francisco. We're doing the same thing in the islands. Sports is a powerful tool, and if kids can learn how to use it as a trampoline into life, I think, the possibilities are endless. I mean, I'm from St. Thomas. I'm in San Francisco.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's a miracle in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think anything is possible with the right culture, the right mindset, the right belief. Yeah. So in 10 years.
You did a great job on the show today. But I want you to just give one more message to young athletes that are maybe going through a struggle or just want to compete at a higher level than high school sports.
It's so hard because there's so many layers that cause you to be successful. But, if there's anything I can share with any kid, and I share with my son often, is wherever you go, always be able and always work hard enough to when you walk away, people recognize you as the hardest worker and the person with the most integrity. And I think those two things translate into life very well. And, like I said, I had great examples through my parents who woke up early in the morning every day to work for years and years. And I saw that. So that was natural for me. So it was easy for me to transition into being like that. So yeah, just outwork. We have this thing on our Wednesday hashtag, outwork the world. And we created that because that was kind of like my mindset, not on Wednesdays only, but it was like, if I'm not feeling like I'm outworking the world, then I'm not doing my best. And surround yourself with positive vibes. Negativity is like a cancer, a mental cancer. And the more you can avoid being around people, that is not uplifting you. We have kids come through the program that are like in second grade, and we'll ask a girl, like, why you work so hard? She said, because I'm going to play in the WNBA. And then we'll look at her and like, let's do it. Versus like, I don't know. We're not here to dismantle people's dreams. We're here to uplift people. So yeah, surround yourself with people that believe in you, and outwork everyone.
All right, once again, we want to thank you for coming on the show. You did a great job of providing a lot of information.
You made it easy. I mean, you're a hell of a host.
Thank you very much.
This, what y'all are doing some really powerful things. And man, I would do this anytime, but just without the pictures.
You kind of see the pictures. That was the most beautiful thing about this show.
Hey, listen, man, you're smart, because if you had said, yeah, we're gonna show you some old pictures, I'm booked today. I don't have any time. But
I'll make sure that a technical person sends them over to you so you have some more memories to keep.
No, I'm just gonna delete them as soon as they come. As soon as they come. Now, this was like I said, I've done a lot of great things and experienced a lot of great experiences, and to be able to connect with people back home, and kind of shed some light on why I'm not as available as I used to be, was a very empowering thing for myself. So I really appreciate the platform that y'all created here to just highlight that there are great humans and people. Definitely. From the Caribbean, and when you put them in the right environment and the right culture with the right guidance, we can do some powerful things. So I love y'all for doing this. This is powerful. I'm probably gonna go float to the restaurant I'm about to go eat now, because I'm like really floating right now.
All right. So once again, thank you for coming out. We definitely appreciate it. This
was a pleasure.
Island is proud of you.
Yes, and I'm proud of y'all for doing this. This is awesome.
All right. Have a good night.
Sure.
Next episode of Between the Lines will be next week, July 28th. I'm sorry. And our guest will be Akeem Maynard of Lead Off Athletics. Remember to tune in at 7 p.m. Before we go, we want to shout out some of the people involved. Lorena Robinson, our executive producer. Shane O'Neill, our technical and visuals guy. And we also want to shout out Leo Sibley for our introduction track, which is called Born Ready. That's available on all streaming platforms. Thank you very much for watching Between the Lines, and see you guys next week.
I'm doing great, even though every day's not fine. But still I woke up today, another day to get on my grind. Got me singing, whoa, whoa. Effort ang feel ko paano yan, whoa, whoa. Effort ang feel ko paano yan, eh.